Welcome everybody to another episode of the Burnt Ship Podcast. In this particular episode, we're bringing on the returning champion, Deltron Blac. He's been on so many of our records that I've lost count. Always good for an amazing verse. Really strong rapper, great songwriter, producer as well. Did some writing for Dr. Dre, as well as some other indie artists. And also, for those of you who might not know, you've seen music videos for things like That Look in Your Eyes or Ain't No Option. He's a video director as well. Comes up with all the treatments, comes up with all of editing, the shots, the different scenes, and he's just multi-talented.
I'm really feeling like a champ.
Renaissance man extraordinaire. That's what I call him. Renaissance man extraordinaire.
Exactly.
Right,
we could go on.
He does it all.
His accolades and his abilities. But welcome to the podcast, Deltron Blac.
Hey, thank you, man. That was a block, bro. I need you to host some shows and introduce me. Live performances. Damn. It's when you say that. Wait, we can cuss, right? We good to cuss?
Yeah.
I'm not.
There we go.
Get them out early. Now
that's the new joint. That's the new joint. That the fuck.
Yo.
But when I shoot the music video, the face got for real. It's dope when you mention all that stuff because I just be moving so much that I try not to I don't even pay attention to some of the shit that I'm doing. I just grind and that's it. And I look up when you swim, when you do the butterfly or whatever, when you're swimming underwater and then you come up and then you go right back under. That's how I look at music. I got a little bit of Henny in the system right now too. What's up, Gary?
What up, brother? How you doing, man? What's good?
Dog, I know, man. It's been crazy since I've seen the live face from you. It's been shit. What is it? It's been like a year. Good to see you, man.
Likewise, brother. Always good to see you, man. I appreciate your talent from afar and just so happy that we get to connect tonight on this call, man.
Same thing here. Same thing for sure, man. And me and Non-Sec, we've been cooking. Sec has been keeping me consistent and busy with things. So can't complain at all.
Holding it down as always, both of you. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, man. With the hooks and just the contributions and some of the stuff you're doing behind the scenes that a lot of people may not even know of. So shout out to you too, man.
Appreciate that.
Real talk.
Absolutely. So just to set the scene, it was over a decade ago, and one of my really, really close, two of my really, really close homies in the music business, DJ P-Trix, and also a homie Mike Mallinger, manager extraordinaire, hosted a club event at Pig and Whistle in Hollywood, and Deltron was the MC for a lot of those different shows. And so I would always see him keeping the party hype, making sure everybody was engaged.
Trying to turn up
here and there.
Right.
And so that was how we first met and connected and built a dialogue that ultimately became a collaboration that's really ramped up the last 3 years, right? So what I would like to talk to you about first, some of the records that we worked on, then we can get into your songwriting process. So I know we had, I think, 2 sessions before we really started locking in with Blame Ronnie. I think we had 2 sessions with Aldo in a couple different places, and we were on pop records and stuff because you were also writing pop for this
this artist.
Yeah, right. And then I remember something happened where I was like, yo, you should really come through on this particular day.
I remember that.
Right. I was like I really think, and it was one of those things where not only did we cut some records that I think you had, because I was always sending you beats. Like, pretty much since I met you, I've been sending you beats. And sometimes you write to them and they come out on other projects or whatever. But
this
particular session, I remember we did a couple records, but I came in with the track for Don't Go Away. And
this one. I remember.
Right. So I feel like that was the first session that set the bar for the collaboration, in terms of me coming up with a beat and that hook in the morning and saying, hey, cut whatever you wrote, but I feel like this one is special. And then it turned out to be special. The way
that was insane.
So let's talk a little bit about Don't Go Away. How did you feel when you first heard the beat, the hook? How did that unfold for you, man?
It's funny. Something that I just remembered like a few weeks ago that we rarely mentioned Sec is when what you call it when and by the way, shout out to Gary King for you know what I'm saying, because he did the piano version, the acoustic version of Please Don't Go Away. That was so dope.
Yeah.
But and then we also have a saxophone version too. I never released that, but
Yeah.
focus on the story was it's funny that we never really mentioned this. I think Please Don't Go Away, I think the first time I came in to lay that down, I think I wrote the first verse in a few minutes, and then it was at the end of a session. So then I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to freestyle the second verse. Do you remember that? Freestyle out of the second verse. Do you remember that? Yeah.
I remember you saying something like, yo, I'm going to pull from some of your traveling stories to write it.
Definitely. No, that was definitely true. For the first verse, I channeled my inner non-sec, because the way me and non-sec met was that, like you said, I was hosting in Hollywood, doing a lot of shows, and non-sec would pop in. He'll be in town for the minute, Gary, and then we always used to have this table right next to the DJ booth. And so either we'll go to this place called Mai Mai, or we'll go and get some food before, and then I would show up, and then Nontek could either be there or he'll grab his food or whatever. He'll come in, and we're just chilling at this point. We good. And now we getting drinks. We used to drink a lot of Tokyo tea. Shout out to DJ Chucks, Petrix, Mike, all of them, the whole staff over there in Hollywood. And then we just start shooting the shit, man. And he was familiar with Chuck's One, Music and Strength, and some of the things that Chucks was into, and Petrix, and he was just always a hip hop head. But Nonsec was always mad quiet. And the women used to pop up in Hollywood. I'm hosting events and stuff. So the women would be around. And next thing, I don't know how it started, but me and Sec to start talking about some of the things we had in common. So he would share some stories. And then he would tell me about, bruh, you got to go to Medellin, man. When you get to the Philippines, Medellin. We got to call him Medellin King. That's the Medellin King. But he'll tell me about these different stories, Brazil, and I would just sit there because I'm like, look, man, back then I was a lot fresher off of my man whore days, so I had a lot of experience myself. But he's telling me about these far out experiences that I'm like, what? So my eyes are like this. I'm sitting there, binocular eyes, looking at Nonsec. Like, damn, you doing what? They do what? They about what? And we just connected on that. And it's funny though, Gary, because we connected on that first, and just the love of music and hip hop, that for years we didn't touch a track. We didn't even talk. We just stayed in touch. And like literally it took, I think, 4 or 5 years before we really started to, I'm saying. So Don't Go Away was some of the stories that I remembered. And this is years later. I remember embodying some of these stories and some of his experiences. And so I embodied that and put it into a track. And I tried to say like what it would feel like to be non-sec, moving through these different cities, places, and spaces, these different women that may be addicted or enjoy these experiences that he's bestowing upon them.
And you just remembered that. You just remembered that from like that was still in your brain from like 4 or 5 years later. It was just right there.
Oh, yeah, because most of us rappers want to be little whores and tour all over the damn world so we can have these experiences. So when he first met me, I was building up to have those experiences. Later on, I ended up changing my mentality around it. And I was like, no, I don't need to do all that, this, that, and the third. So I was able to live a version of the tour life through Nonsec with this verse.
But also real quick, I think, and you started off the pod just a few minutes ago with something I thought was really cool. And I know you just thought of it in the moment. You came up with a dope analogy of the butterfly stroke to describe being on the grind, just like that.
Right.
And I think that, to your point about rappers being unique, you have that observer gift to just be able to
Thank you, bro.
to catalog stuff, which is like all the greats do that. All the greats are constantly walking around, even when they don't have their pad or their pen. It's in there, and that's dope,
life
man.
is
That's
art.
Like
art is life.
You just walk around cataloging everything. You're like an observer, man. That's real. That's deep, man.
Thank you. I take pride in that. Thank you for saying that, because I remember growing up, people would be like, "Yo, you're so over analytical, or you're always watching." And I'm like yearning for knowledge and experiences, because life is art for real.
I never heard anybody compare the grind to like a swim stroke. And when you said it just now, I was like, whoa, this dude just dropped that's cool, man. Respect, man.
Fresh air, man. I rather appreciate you. Hell yeah. Man, that's how it came along, man. It was just really like his experiences. I think I freaked out the second verse because we had to go. But then I think I came back in the next session we had, and I was like, yo, let me revisit, let me tighten up some things on that verse. And then that second verse, "Now I'm in another town." I don't remember what the first version was. It was cool, but that second verse really brought it home. You remember that now?
We did some editing,
And then, of course, shout out to Non-Sec's ear. Non-Sec has an ear when we're in the studio.
Yeah.
There's not many people that I trust musically. Literally, I could count on one hand how many people I trust musically. But I think after taking so long for us to finally work together, when I do my stuff on my projects, he's like, yo, this is yours. You got the freedom to do your shit. But when we get together, typically it's me, Non-Sec, and Blame Ronnie. And he's one of the other people I trust, the engineer Ronnie. I look at them in such admiration where I trust their input. It's extremely humbling because us artists, we can be very egotistical at times and be like, yo, I know my sound. And I do know my sound. But he hears my voice and the sound in a different way.
Same thing, 100%.
Really? For you too?
I tell this to Nan all the time because, first of all, as well as I do, he's super humble relative to his gifts as a producer and his ear musically. But I'm same thing. I know my sound. I have one of my gifts, I think, is melody. But Nan has a way of taking my melodies and hearing. I'll think something is a pre-chorus, and he'll be like, "No, that's the hook." And
really?
At first, I'll be like, or vice versa. I'll think something is the choruses, that's the pre-chorus. And so in terms of what you're saying, I can stamp that. I've had that experience consistently where he'll take something like the post hook in the Trinket joint that we did on.
Island Girls. Yeah.
Island Girls. I originally had the post chorus as a hook in my head, but I learned to just vibe and flow with Nan's instincts. And over time, he developed that trust, I think is kind of what you're saying too. Like, realize, oh, this guy has a gift for taking little bits and pieces and constructing it and making it something else.
It's mechanical how he does it. And then just for me, when I'm getting in the studio, and it's funny because you said he's modest. And right now, look, we building you up. We giving you flowers right now, man. So I know he don't look at him smiling. He don't like it. He's like, okay,
I tell him I want him to be a little more cocky. Hey man, you need to be a little more cocky with what you do, man. Come on, man.
Hey, he's a genius. He is someone that I consider a genius. I'll lay a tone, and Non-Sec knows this. I got some abilities to harmonize here and there. I can play with some hooks and stuff, but I'll come up with some patterns or some hooks sometimes. And like you said, he'll help. Yo, I love that bar, but what if we took line 3 and made that line 4, take 4 and make it 3, and then, yo, I'm going to come in after and I'm going to do this harmony. It's almost like I worked on this video game, Non-Sec. I don't think you know this, but let me tell you this. We dropping gems today, baby. I worked for Disney Interactive Studios, and I was a video game tester for a while. And they assigned me to this video game called Disney Pop Hits. And it had Taylor Swift. It had like those guys' name, Jonas Brothers, and all those celebrities back then. Hillary Duff, or whatever her name is, Cyrus. So you had to sing and you would get points, but then they had this special harmony gold bar where it's enchanted. And when you sing the undertones, it's a hidden point system where you can double your record. So when I'm doing my harmonies, Non-Sec always takes me back to when I worked at Disney because he'll come in and he'll find an undertone or overtone. And some of the tracks that you guys are hearing is blended. So I never told you that before, Non-Sec, because we're always in a grind of it. We're swimming and we're working, right? But he'll hit these undertones and overtones. And I'm like, by the time the shit is done, I'm like, damn, this sounded better than I even pictured it in my head. Or he'll challenge me sometimes. Like, I like the octave you at, but just try to go up a little more. That note's a little flat down there. Let's just see how you sound. Fuck it, let's try it. But I like also that sometimes I'll be like, hey, yo, this is how I wrote it. But Sec, I was thinking on the drive down here, I want to go higher on this tone. He'd be like, hey, fuck it, let's try it. And that's what develops that chemistry. It's so dope. And Ronnie's crazy because Ronnie's already recording as I'm like, yo, I hear something in my head. And he'll run it back like, you back for me real quick, Ronnie? And I'm just listening. And then I'll just start like, nah. Ronnie's already recording it. And so the magic of us three working together is seamless, man.
Yeah, one of the things to kind of the Don't Go Away story that I always listen for, because I worked with Ronnie so long, like since think when he starts doing little tricks, that means he's feeling the record. So like that reverse effect on the vocal under the second verse. I think this is a joint. Okay. Excited too. Like I believed in the record, obviously. Like I was like, I think it's gonna be special. You cut it. And then when Ronnie was started doing his little magic, it was like, okay, believes in it too. It's gonna be one. So that what I loved about that one for us collectively was it on some pop stations internationally. Like one of the biggest stations in Barcelona was playing it. UK, a couple pop stations played it. Like I know it run in Chicago. I remember correctly, like state radio stations playing it. Just
I remember that. Different.
And people playlisted it or co-signed it, like some NRs here and there had their own playlists and stuff. And so it was cool to know that that we believed in was just an idea, got to reach all these people in different countries that we couldn't reach ourselves. Like a really good foundation. So by the time we got back in the studio, so we got to tell that story and talk about the Australian connection, I think. You got there, I had been running some beats for Ronnie, just on some, hey, here's what I'm thinking, when I played the beat for Gimme That, he's like, that is a beat, is a smash. I don't care what else you play, that beat is a smash. And then you came in, and I was like, yo, hey, look, would you ever want to do like a Pitbull style joint? And you were like, I was just saying I wanted to rap faster. And so it kind of was like the universe pushing us to that record. So that one is one of the ones you wrote in studio, because sometimes you'll write before you get there.
Right.
And that was what you wrote in studio. And that,
we wrote that, we knocked that out in like 30 minutes. Literally, we wrote, you remember, I penned the whole thing in like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
There was that one, we knocked out like tracks before that when I got in.
Yeah.
And we had Do Something With It and Gimme That. So we had Gimme That first.
Yep.
And Do Something With It. Like, so out of the 6 tracks we laid down that day,
yeah,
this is in a span of like, usually we do 8-hour blocks, but I think I may have gotten there a little bit later, like 1 hour late. So we knocked this all out in like hours. We just work. When we get in the studio, one thing about Sec, y'all, if y'all artist is looking to work with non-Sec, he may not say it like this, but be about your shit. Like, ready. If you're not going to pre-write your shit before you get there, be ready to write on the fly. Take input, get in the studio, learn your stuff, lay it down. Don't be bringing no groupies around. Like, if you can't handle your liquor or your smoke, he's not there to play. And I love that because I always wanted that. Like, I always wanted to embody that inner Tupac where it's like songs and just lay it down. Let's move. I always wanted that. And I get that fulfillment when I'm working with Burn Ships, working with Gary and Non-Sec, and they got the tracks already laid or the hooks already laid. I love the formula. But we knocked this out in like 20, 30 minutes. And literally just went in there and give it that, give you that stroke, give me that thing, I'm gonna give you that dough. Got me, they go get they got you on my hit list, that body's a red big wait, just pause. And then Blame Ronnie started doing the same stuff. He started pausing. And now I pictured it since I started to get the rhythm of how they worked and what type of engineer we had. I was like, yo, I can put pause in this and we could just roll with it. So one came real quick in the studio, was very natural. Energy was already flowing. We wrote it quick as hell, recorded it probably in like minutes. It was insane how quick we just rolled through it.
Yeah, it was super fast. And what I loved about that record is it was so different than what I think we both normally do. It happened. I was feeling that at the crib that day when I made the beat, and I wasn't sure about it. I just knew that's what I was feeling. And then Ryan was like, that's the one. I'm like, then I gotta play it for Black. Like, see, like, would you? And then it kind of from there. What surprised me, like, we always try to push our records to radio, different channels. We always try to push our records to DJs through the different channels. But on that particular record, in Australia in particular, right? So I can talk about the Shakedown Radio Love. That I'd love for you to talk about, like the Honda Radio.
Yeah, shout out to Chris Caggs.
Yeah. Shout out to Chris Caggs, Shakedown Radio.
Yeah, showing us love.
Low right now. He's been running it back days.
Shout out to Gary on that hook. Let me see your dress down low. Can't do it, but I'm gonna try. Nah,
Yeah.
no, you said you wanted me to talk to some of the other love that we got from
Well,
Australia.
yeah, I think what ended up happening was we got momentum that built off of momentum. So it was like Chris Caggs was running it first. Like, time he had a show, somehow Gimme That got in the playlist. And this was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's times where we be the only indie act in that place.
That's true. Damn.
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like across. So it wasn't just Sydney, it was Melbourne, it was, New South Wales. And like, so there's like, well, all right, let me run some ads to support that. And then, like Honda, Australia picking. So tell us, let's get into that because it was crazy having that all going in Australia simultaneous, man.
So I'm take the time to give a special shout out to the homegirl Tree. I don't know if she heard it on the radio or she heard it on Instagram. I don't really remember how it happened, but she was in Australia and she was like, you know what? I love this song. And I think she was like a workout instructor, if I'm not a fitness instructor, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, yeah.
So she played that inside of like gym and everybody was going nuts. Like, who's this? What is this? And then she tested it out. I think she told me she went to the Honda team and I hope I'm not getting her in trouble or whatnot, but she played that for the Honda team, just the mechanics. Gary, she was playing it for the mechanics and the people just prepping for their national.
I remember the reel she did on it. Yeah, I remember, man. That was
fucking nuts. And they were like the mechanics were dancing and repairing. It was like, yo, there's something special here. And then I think somebody at the Honda team heard it, and then they presented it to, I don't know how it worked, but like whole national grand race of the year. And next thing you ended up getting played on national TV for millions to hear because they love the song that much, man. It's crazy. And I'm like, yo, it was literally like it just kept building momentum. And I'm like, damn, this is special. It was special, man. It was a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
It was just a beautiful moment, man.
Yeah, I think just for a lot of indie artists who are listening, a lot of times people feel like they got to be part of the machine, but it goes to show you that music, when it's well in place properly, can cut through and become meaningful in so many different places you wouldn't expect. Because we weren't thinking about Australia when we wrote it, but whatever we captured connected with people in Australia in a way that we never expected.
No, man. And the same thing low key happened with Go Ahead Baby? Go Ahead Baby was played on Weekend in France. And I don't know if you know that, but Tony Tech called me. Shout out to DJ Tony Tech.
Get enough. That was the
Till you get enough, yeah. On and on till you get enough. Yeah, Gary strikes again. Yeah. Come on, man. But crazy. You never know how far this stuff is going to go. And it's crazy because this is something that was built so organically. We didn't keep in mind that in the beginning of this, we were saying how we met over 12, 13 years ago. And it took years for us to even, because music wasn't on the forefront. Like, I got to get with this producer. I got to get with this rapper. I think Nonsex shares the story all the time that he was kind of off rap for a while. You know what I'm saying? And so, couldn't happen at a better time. I think what really, and I don't know, we don't talk about this enough either, Nonsex, because again, we get in the studio and start grinding, but we don't talk about, I think when Nipsey Hussle passed, and then I took that one track that you sent me, it just resonated with me. And I wrote the story about how I met Nipsey Hussle when I was working for the radio. And I wrote to that and I released that on like SoundCloud. I didn't even put it on streaming platforms. I just released it.
Yeah.
I think Nonsec was like, oh, he does dibble and dabble and get down. Then that's when it slowly started to really build up. And it took a while though.
Yeah. I was always sending you beats, but there was a point where I had legitimately quit doing hip hop production. And I'm not going to name names, but there were like major artists or people that I had looked up to that had stuff without the proper credit or compensation. And it wasn't the first time that it had happened. And, just like that basically drove me into pop and R&B for a while, like a long while. Yeah, it was you. Like, I think I tell you this all the time. Like, it's literally you that brought me back to hip hop. Like, I darn near quit doing hip hop production. Like, just like, I don't, you almost have PTSD over the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I feel it.
But it's like, I always knew you were good people. Like, I always knew you had a good heart. I always, just from seeing the different showcases, I knew you had love for fellow creatives. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I saw that. I heard the song. Like, I started to get the vision. So it was like, I had a basic vision on the first session, and then the fact that I came in with like one beat with the hook, and I saw what that was. And then when we did Give Me That and a couple other things, like Give Me That session, as like, now I think I know how to really come prepared for a Deltron Blac.
a formula.
Yeah. So like, get, okay, if I do this, this, and this, we're gonna become like well-oiled machine. You know what I mean? Like,
You just knock them out the park. Yeah.
So yeah, that really opened a lot of doors for us in Australia, a couple of other places, but that one was like first time where I just remember being a bunch of different places in a country that we had no plans to even be active in. And we know that like a collective sound isn't just one country or one area. Like, sound is universal in an organic, non-pandering way. It's we came up with just connects to people. And I think part of that, like, we can get into the songwriting a little bit later, but I think part of that is like around different types of crowds and seeing what moves people, what they react to, you know, and then they're performing all these different places and seeing the different crowds. And me, you know, between, you know, with DJs over here and just traveling all over the world, it's start to see what moves people, what connects with people, like universal,
Right.
that whole thing. And so I think without us consciously planning it, it was already kind of into our process in terms of like, people react to this. Let me make sure, you know, what the standard is. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with that.
Yeah. Should we move on to that look? Because that was like a one that kind of doors.
Yeah, we move on to that. I want to say something that's funny real quick.
Yeah.
And I have a follow-up question too after but go ahead.
Okay. But I was gonna say, Gary, it's so organic what we do, because I remember we recorded this track. It was a West Coast track called California Murder Rap. Do you remember this one, Nonset?
I do.
It's in the tuck, but it's not a song that I ever really want to release, because the verses, the concept is cool, but it's like done. What I love about when I get with you guys over here at Burn Ships is that I've always say, shout out to my boy Ken. I've always had this concept of music underground, where you don't have to be mainstream, you don't have to be underground, you don't have to sound regional, you don't got to sound black, you don't got to sound white. Like, be you, and deliver what feels right for the track. Extract some ego. And one of the things that I've learned with working with Burn Ships is it was finally like, and I've never probably told y'all this, but it's finally like, I don't have to prove that I can rap anymore. I'll let the music and the skill and what's necessary for the track and sprinkle in. I'm not to be fucked with when it comes to raps and lyricism, but let's have fun. And what is your catch? What pop culture for the liberated?
Oh yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, pop for the liberated soul. Yeah.
See what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, and so for me, I take the craft and I'm like, yo, for me, it's my craft, it's my hip hop, but I can have fun, I can get free with it and liberate some souls, you know what I'm saying? And it might sound a little trendy, it might sound a little different for the people who listen to my underground traditional backpack stuff, but so fucking what? We could do it all, and we could do what the fuck we want. I'm sorry, it's the Hennessy. I'm sorry, go ahead, Gary. What's good, man?
You good. No, I don't want to digress too much, but Nan brought it up. He pointed to this when he said, in terms of your live performances and crowd reaction have influenced you, and that's something Nan and I were talking about when we were prepping for this. Is like curious, like the crowd reactions and your live performances sort of inform your choices in your songwriting and production, you know. And then the second part of that
beautiful
question, if they do, what are some of the universal things that you see in terms of certain songs that resonate with like audiences, sort of reactions? Like, what are some of those things that you've noticed over your time as a live performer that resonates? And then how is that sort of your songwriting and production and your artistry?
Oh, that's a very fucking beautiful question. See if I can stay focused on that. So one, I think when you come and you want to experience a show, you want to feel energy. And ironically, like that, for example, it goes off. Like I play that, people were dancing, even at a live show, even if it's a venue that only fits 100 people and they're all standing and it's not a dance floor, they start dancing, they start moving. It's something about the track and the delivery of the track. It almost forces you to loosen up. I've noticed that with performers, ones who take the craft seriously, they can take that information and the crowd respond. And even if people don't know you, they'll come up and be like, oh my God, like, who are you? How are you not famous? What is going on? Like, I just want to get to know you and stay in touch because you moved them and you gave them an experience. And you can take that information. It's all data collection, like you said earlier today, like always observing and taking it, like works. And then I apply that. But there's another aspect to it where it's also not just energy, it's emotion. How are you making a person feel? If they had a stressed out week, are you making them feel loose? Sometimes I take my songs and I curate them in a way with categories where I might express something that's more sentimental on song 3 in my performance and completely kill the crowd and the energy, and I give them heart. And then they're like, oh, I feel like I know him as a person now. He just talked about his childhood, foster care, his disabled mom, his kids, his struggles with being a faithful male and all these things. He's talking about this shit. He's given us his soul. So then when you tap back in, by the time you're on that last song, they walk away feeling like they know you. And that's what makes it beautiful. And that's why I recommend that all artists, I don't care what, it's an open mic, showcase, big show, you have to be willing to get out there and put yourself out there because that's information and it's connectivity with the people that you can then take and translate back to songs and sonic audio, format. You got to connect with it all. You know what I'm saying? And then the second part of your question was what? I'm sorry.
No, it's just touching on some of it. How does that play into your songwriting? Like you're in the booth and you're hearing a beat for the first time. Is there a part of you that's bringing in, like, strike me as somebody who's visual and very emotional, right? Like vibes and like a lot of times, although you have the data collection part too. So like
Right.
how does that live experience come spill into your songwriting? Like do you sometimes thinking of a verse and then get an
Yes.
intuition of like this would work good in a live, like, you know what I'm
Yes, in a
saying?
live
Like,
setting. Yes, it's
yeah.
certain songs that work even better. Like for example, we have "Do Something with It," and Nonsec knows I want that for my project. Right? We have "Do Something with It." It may do okay like radio and people, but I know live, that's a song that people will just be like. Sometimes I build in call and response in the songwriting because I'm already picturing people doing the call and response and participating with me. But not just that, writing to get hype. I write with breaks. I also do a lot of my writing while I'm running on a treadmill so I can practice breath control and know what a live performance version is going to sound like. So then I know to pull some words or keep words. And when I'm a
Okay.
sprint, yeah, the bar. Shout out to my man Mark W. I think it was him who told me like, yo, he does a lot of, he practiced for shows on the treadmill. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna try writing too on treadmills as well because then I can start knowing my gaps and my punches.
Oh, wow.
But
Okay.
transition from running and writing with the idea to perform this to now, I still do that. Don't get me wrong, but now you guys mentioned earlier, I'm also getting into the video directing, the visual aspect of things. So now I'm writing with the running and the performing in mind, and then I'm writing with visuals in mind
That's
at the
fascinating.
same
That's cool,
time.
man. Yeah,
And
that's
so the
dope.
lyrics are already writing the music video treatment. I just got to pick the colors, scenery, model, and the words
Yeah.
are already painting the picture for it. So that's kind of that look in your eyes work. I
Yeah.
said, Mo, hotel room, the ocean view. It literally, I'm writing the music video treatment now, stuffing it with
Yeah.
rhymes, my experiences, and visuals that'll be
Yeah.
high lit. Yeah.
Yes, that look, the reason that one was special to for a while. Well, two, right? So first off, like the beat, I felt like the beat was special. I threw it, he gives me the melody, and I'm like, all right, let's this hook. Cause I think I told you, look, I'm cue this beat, it's yours, but let me finish the hook with Gary because I think it's going to really be something. So we together, we finished the hook, and then we sent it to you, and then did thing with painting the picture, making it catchy. With that, what loved about that track was that we believed in it being something. And even though a lot of people, well, like 3 or 4 people whose ears I trust were kind of like, no, I was like, no, this is special. And typically I would listen to them, but I think part of me working with you guys and getting the success that we've had with being on radio, being featured, by Honda, getting sync library, stuff like that. It's like,
congrats to that. Cheers to that.
Yeah,
that's a big one.
Yeah. That what we have is magical enough that if all 3 of us believe in it, you know what I mean? Like it's something. So I remember when we pushed it out to radio, we had it on radio in like 4 countries the same week. Like Lithuania, like the pop station in Lithuania, like if you look up That Look in Your Eyes right now, like on Shazam, it's in Lithuanian. That's where everybody was searching on it because the biggest pop station in Lithuania, when I sent that out, was like, yo, we like it. So they put it on radio multiple times. And then they also had a special pop hits playlist. Like they put on pop hits. And I looked at the playlist and it's like, like all of the big A-list artists, that hits. And like our record.
Yo, shit, man. We don't talk about it enough.
It's like we have for one country for each one of you that said it wasn't gonna work. You know what I mean? Like
that's a bar. I didn't even realize that. That's true.
So and then just wholesome to find out that it was like niece's favorite song, and like whenever she cried, like she put on and it would calm her down, and then she wanted to dance. She got happy. Like find out like a baby's song. That's almost as meaningful as being on radio in multiple countries. Like plays That Look on
that's crazy.
Local lunch, like serious later, I think 2 years later.
It's like 2 years later, yo, and it's beautiful because I have a similar story where I had one of my old coworkers, shout out to Crystal in New York. She put the Please Don't Go Away on for her daughter randomly because that was one of her feel good songs. But That Look in particular, for me, when I played that song for the first time for my family and my daughter, she was 2 at the time. Whenever that song would come on, she would dance and bop. And then I remember my son, he was at the time, he was like 9, 10 years old. And he said, he looked over at me and was like, Daddy, that's the best song that I ever heard from you. This is my all-time favorite song from you. I was like, really? And he was like, and I said, crazy because this falls in my top 10 songs ever recorded. Like, I love That Look. I absolutely just lit because it was a beautiful opportunity for me to challenge myself to write to the the 1-2 that bounce, but approach it with a never come that melodic with things. I'm never harmonizing that much with tracks. So Gary, when I walked in and I was shit to record that song, but I practiced it for like weeks in advance, a couple weeks. And so I was like, I was trying to nail the tempo and the harmonies and the pitch and all that perfectly, but I was nervous as hell because Nonsack has never really seen me this. We did Please Don't Go Away, but Please Don't Go Away was a lot more choppy in the cadence and more lyrical delivery. This was just, and I was like, yo, and it was a so notice for me, and they can they can probably tell, like, I got words, man. I can deliver a lot of words, right? But it was hard for me with That Look because I was like, Gary and you guys led beat and the hook so well that I said, I can't get on here showing that I can rap. I got to show that I can make a song and a song that people can feel good about. And so that was one of my proudest feats working with Burn Ships. That's definitely in my top 3 songs of all time that we've done as a unison. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the video came out great too.
Yeah.
That direction, that vision, and the concept and the treatment, it came out really good. I show it to people to this day, and they're really impressed with the vibe. So
Yeah.
It was beautiful. And we made that work on a cloudy day in LA, and we still got the sun to come out a little bit. It's definitely one of my favorite videos and favorite songs. Like it lines up, matches really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I mean, it's favorites that we've done, for sure. It
Yeah.
does, man.
I'm really proud of it because you know, once again, when we get together, we can make universal records, and it's we sit down and we say we're gonna do this, so this
I
country,
love that. Right.
this right, more capturing a feeling, like that feeling where you feel like this feels like a record. There's no like section that I'm worried. Like everybody who's creative, that feeling when you can just press play and not make excuses. And I feel like that's our bar, right? Like it's kind of, it's like, right, okay, like we know DJs will love, radio will love, and when we press play, we ain't gotta say, now, you know, this section, here's what I meant to do. Because we've all been in that situation too, where like everything except one section. But I think with everything that's come out, I've been able to send this stuff to, you know, DJs, playlisters, and ours. Just say, hey, this is what it did. This is who played it on radio. Check it out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Without any qualifications or, you know what I mean? And that's such a freeing and accomplished feeling as a creative.
Yeah.
Right? Because I've all struggled with that. Like there's songs you except for one section.
Right.
Interesting to see where the different songs go and impact. That's one of the other things that I've liked about this journey with us. It's like, because songs hit radio and are like immediately. Some are slow burns. Some are more playlist friendly than radio friendly.
Yeah.
Like I think into Go Baby, like that one ended up being more playlist friendly. Like one that was crazy was Audio Mac. There's this name, and sorry, shout out to him.
Shout out.
Over at Audio Mac. He's constantly looking for new people, new releases to add to his different playlists. So I just happened to send him the Go Ahead Baby record because that was a fun one. That was crazy. Like I remember like two writers had canceled. So it was just me and Ronnie. I was like, well, I got Ronnie. I got to do something. I'm leaving here with something, like Denzel said. Like I'm leaving here with hooks or something.
Right.
Had like the rough hook, and you came in and you polished the hook, and then you went off. So I said to Jason, and sorry, next thing I know, he's tweeting about it, and he's got us on this A-list playlist behind like City Girls and all these other A-list rappers, and it's like stayed on that playlist. Like he didn't remove it. It was there months and months. So people coming to play this A-list playlist on eventually getting to Go Ahead Baby, you know, and that
fire.
And so
that's fire.
Yeah, it's like it's always hit at least one outlet, venue, whatever you want to call it. Like,
Yo, that's something to be proud of.
You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, that's something to be proud of too, man. And just to touch on, I remember when I came to lay down to Go Ahead Baby.
Yeah.
If you want to go back, go ahead, baby. You want to think? Because I remember you did, and yo, Gary, you know this. Like Sec didn't like his voice as much, and I'm like, bro. To this day, I tell him some tracks. I'm like, no, you need to stay there. I'll do your undertones, and you need to stay. That's burnt ships. Like for me now, certain tracks, I'm like, no, he has a certain way of delivering shit that I'm like, bro, I like that. But Go Ahead Baby was one of the first hooks that wasn't like built in with the chorus and the breakdown. So he laid it down vocally. And I remember when I first had to come in to lay that down, I was like, it was a confession because I never collaborated to the extent. That's what makes Burnt Ships also special to me because it's anti-ego. Because I've never allowed anything to lay down before me. Like if it's not in all me, in previous it's not like my ideas. I'm usually apprehensive of it. But this is part of the trust in the build where he laid the hook down and I'm listening to it. I'm like, yo, though my voice, that shit's hot to the motherfucker. I'm like, I can get my LL Cool J on, right? So it was an experience, and I don't like again, man. When we get in the studio, and Gary, you've been in the studio with us. We get in the studio, man, and we just knock this stuff out. We don't talk much unless it's about the song and music, and we just keep going. So we never got to really talk much. but it was a very humbling and an appreciative experience for me because I'm like, yo, he heard the idea. He had a hook came in. I laid over. We extracted his part, and then I put a little bit of my flair and style swag on, and then we went and another 20, 30 minutes. Boom, knocked the verse out, went back in, laid it down, and it was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So these things are becoming beautiful creative projects because you have admiration and respect. Like I love Gary's voice, like untouchable. It's angelic. It's delivered this like Gary. You're a fucking genius. Like your voice, your delivery, whether you go acoustic or you lay something or you do a print. And then when you talk about non-sex approach to music and the formula that he plays with, or even sometimes his tone and his he got to his tone. That's what I've been leaning on lately, where I'm like, no, lay that shit down and keep it in there. And he's my producer. Sometimes I'm in there like, no, fuck that. That's to stay. And I'll give him the plead hands like, dude, I hear something. And I love that over the years he's learned to trust me too. And we've coming where he'll lay a piece and then I'll say a few bars and he'll come back in and then, or maybe Gary might come in and take over that part, or Willis or Mommy Mia, and then it starts to curate this beautiful tornado of just fucking pop liberated soul. It's crap pop culture, but it's beauty, man. All right, I'm sorry, but yeah, anyway.
Yeah, let's couple other records that we've done, and then we'll get into it's more like the songwriting process. I do want to highlight the fact that you're such a writer. Obviously, you working with Dre and other we rarely songwriting with our guests because so many of our guests are pretty much just writing for themselves, and so we will get that. But I do want to touch on a couple songs real quick, like rapid fire, and then we can get into songwriting. All right. So
okay.
To tell you enough, we kind of mentioned the Olympics show that love, like Extrava Rap blogs to them. They had a special article all in French. I sent it to my dad because he's a French minor. Like he's able to like read it in original, and I read too. I had to check for some other people, but I'm like, yo, like we in this blog, and this wasn't like we didn't. It's like they believed in it and they gave us a feature.
It's fire.
And oh, by the way, we on this playlist. Like they did associated playlist. We're on it too. And then I think there's like associated radio stations are playing the song during the Olympics. So it's cool to think of, like the world is concentrated in Paris, and these people around like hearing our song potentially. You know what I mean? Like that's just in terms of our collaboration. The crazy thing about that one is that's like one of the times Ronnie kept my vocals in, and I did throw a fit. Yeah, the on in the background.
Yeah.
So if you listen, the on in backgrounds, that is my part, and Ronnie kept it. I was like, all right, you can have that one. He blended it well, but yeah, normally I like it because when you hear Gary sing, you understand why.
Gary's,
and then just rapid fire, and then we'll get into songwriting. So you've done, I want to say, 5 or 6 records easily with Mommy Mia, right?
Yeah.
I've come out some of that, but we got Ain't No Option out. We got Live Better out. We got Plus One out.
Privacy's coming. Privacy maybe.
I think Light Work will come out before.
Oh, Light Work. Forgot about that one.
We'll see, because Light Work is one. Also the Light for Me on, like, she might drop one.
Nice.
But yeah, in terms of the two of you have collaborated so consistently, like what is it of her creative, her style that kind of blends or inspires you to want to get on a track with her? Like what is it of that chemistry?
First, real quick, because a lot of rumors, well, not a lot, but people thought we were an item because we worked so well together. And I'm like, no, I got much respect for Mia. Beautiful woman, talented woman, but that is like sis, like, but this phenomenal. I just had to clear that up because I've sent the music video and they're like, oh, your girlfriend. Okay, well, thank you. I think I'm a lot older, but so I take it as a compliment. Right. But what you call, not a lot older, but you know what I'm saying. I'm an older fella. But with Mamma Mia, her artistry is, I would say, like she's one of easily like my top 5 collaborators, because Mamma Mia, that same thing that I was saying earlier in this part of the podcast, she don't come to play. That woman is, I haven't seen a drive and a focus and an artist female in years that's like hers. Like her content, we always brag about how great she is with her content. I want to take lessons from her. She's phenomenal, right, Gary?
Yeah,
She's nuts, right?
absolutely. And her ear from is
And then when we start talking about melodies, like her cadences, she knows how to. She can. I was music with her in Santa Cruz just a few weeks ago, which will be coming out soon for Lie Better.
Yeah.
And she where she's rapping or like damn near rapping to a trap and talking about bottles, and I was like, "Yo, who's that?" And she's like, "That's me." And I'm like, "No fucking! I've already been impressed with you.
Yeah.
You can rap if you want, but she doesn't play. When she gets in the studio, she knocks it out. When she did Plus One, she dropped Plus. Me and Mia was both writing at the same time. Willis came in, he did his shit. You remember that?
Yes. And I had hit the flight before I heard her verse. I heard her verse in the airport about to get on my flight, and I dropped the phone. I was like, "Oh, that
woman is nuts." And shout out to Hard Drive, because I know she has some background with Hard Drive and like the camps and learned a lot of things, and she's really stepped into the Bay Area princess role. But Mommy Mia is impeccable with the pen. Like we were both there, and I pride myself as a quick on the go witty writer, kind of like what you were saying earlier, Gary. Was like, yo, you just come up with the stuff on the fly. Like I literally a phone filled with punchlines, hundreds and hundreds of punchlines that I could resort to, but I'm like, nah, that's no fun. It's too easy. I want to write on the spot. And I'm writing on the spot, and literally, I think I clocked it at about, and it's not to braggadocious, but it's to just pay attention to how far I've studied the craft, and when I can curate like a dope verse X amount of time if I'm feeling a track. So I clocked the time, and it was about 14 to 16 minutes. And I'm like, okay, cool.
yeah,
I'm out, like 2 minutes a bar, which is great. And I look over like, okay, I'm smiling. I'm like, yo, I got my ready. I look over and Mommy Mia's like, me too. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah. Then we're sitting talking like, well, who laid it first? I'm like, yo, what's up to you? You can go ahead and lay it first or whatever. I don't remember who laid it first, but she was a beast. And I was like, from that moment on, I was like, dude, not only does she got a great voice, an amazing personality, this woman is extremely talented. So shout out to Mommy Mia. That's why I shout her out. And
the
West
work ethic, the talent, the whole 9 yards. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody eyes out for the Live Better video. I know a lot of people,
I
like
see it.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be fire because I know when y'all get together, like there's a video
the pressure's on.
Watching Ain't No Option, where I thought the visuals were fire. I thought they have some really cool scenes together. Like you get us a Mia swag along with Deltron's. It's like they in two different worlds and they come together. It's a vibe, and so I know it's gonna be just as fire with Deltron directing. So with that,
thank you, bro.
Yeah, man. There's that you've done that I just love. Either
Carnival Nights,
sharing them, like the I'm So Fly.
Thank Fly, yeah.
So